Hi folks, hope you are well, and I am talking today about some mistakes that we can make when considering our cholesterol, whether it's high cholesterol or you're trying to manage your cholesterol. And I decided to pick this topic today because so many people have been mentioning cholesterol levels to me, talking about what they can do. It has been with both family and friends and clients. So I thought that there's a demand out there for more information and understanding, because it is one of the most misunderstood health issues that I think is out there. I have scheduled a wee in-person event in Ethical Way on the 16th of November. The link is here in the video, and I'll also put it in the comments if that's something that you're interested in. So, mistake number 1. You haven't got your cholesterol levels checked. You have no symptoms. You're feeling fine, you're perfectly healthy. So you just don't bother getting your cholesterol levels checked. You don't even think about it. And cholesterol levels generally increase with age, so that's something to consider. For men, being older than 45 is a risk factor that is for raised cholesterol levels. Well, if you're a woman, the key age is 55. But I would say don't wait until you hit those magic numbers, and don't wait for symptoms. Go and get checked, okay? Especially if there is a family history. And most of the times doctors are delighted to check. I went and got mine checked there recently, and the doctor was actually quite surprised that I had no history of being checked before. Now, I had been checked privately, so I have my own numbers there, but they just might not think to contact you if you're not in the surgery that much, which, let's face it, we're not in the surgery that much these days. So that's the first mistake. Mistake number 2, you do get your cholesterol levels checked and you don't know your numbers. Maybe you've phoned up and you've been told it's normal, which is great news, fantastic, but get your numbers and have them recorded for yourself. And don't just get your overall cholesterol number, get the breakdown of your LDL and your HDL. And you will be able to then benchmark that for yourself and just keep a wee eye on it. You'll know how close to upper ends or lower ends that you are. Or you've been told it's borderline, and that's good to know. But get your numbers, right? How close to borderline are you? I've had clients coming to me and say, oh, my cholesterol is borderline. And I'm going, well, can you tell me what it is? Or what's your HDL or what's your LDL? And let's see where we can work on. But they don't know. And literally all you have to do is phone up and ask the doctor for a copy of your results. Or you've been told it's high. Oh, I have high cholesterol. But you don't know your numbers. So you don't know whether or not you're going to work on getting it lowered, or what you have to work on, whether you have to work on your HDL or your LDL or what it is. And I know I'm rattling out HDL and LDL. They're different types of, sometimes people just call them good cholesterol or bad cholesterol. And it's all very nuanced, right? And there are particular levels and things like that. And I will be talking that through at that event in Ethical Way as well. But the key here is to know your numbers, to know what you're working with, to know what you're working towards. And really the key to preventing and managing heart disease is controlling the risk factors like cholesterol. Now, there are other risk factors, there are other more significant risk factors, but high cholesterol has no symptoms, and yet it does lead to problems. So I would recommend definitely 20, 30, whatever age you are, start to get checked. And then it might be that if you've no risk factors, you don't have to get checked for a good few years, right? But if you have heart disease risk factors like a family history of heart disease or diabetes or obesity, then definitely get checked, and get checked more regularly. But know your numbers. Even if you don't know what they mean, know your numbers. Then come to me and I'll help you work through it. Mistake number 3. You concentrate on dietary changes and you don't consider lifestyle factors at all. Now, dietary changes can definitely help, but that's only part of the solution. Making changes to your lifestyle will be a major factor. For example, how you move, how much you move, sleep, stress. Oh boy, stress is a big one with cholesterol. I'll be talking about the small contribution that dietary cholesterol does make to our overall cholesterol levels at this session on the 16th of November in Ethical Way, but I will also be talking about the different lifestyle changes that you can make that will significantly impact on your cholesterol levels. So that's mistake number 3. Mistake number 4. You concentrate on cutting out all fat and you don't understand the difference between good fats and bad fats and sometimes kind of middling fats. And whilst it's true that we do want to cut out what's called trans fats, really damaged fats, processed fats, and saturated fats, often found in any baked goods that you're consuming, like crackers and cookies or buns and pancakes and scones and things like that, right? Not all fats need to be avoided. In fact, you should be eating more healthy monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, the kind that are found in olive oil and olives and nuts, as well as foods that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids such as salmon and tuna and mackerel. And I remember talking to a guy that came to me, and he was given a diagnosis of high cholesterol, and he was cutting out his salmon and had loved smoked salmon. I was going, oh, that's it, no more smoked salmon for me. In terms of the healthy fats, though, it is all very nuanced, okay? So you should still watch the number of calories that you're eating, because they can add up very quickly, even with healthy fats. And monitoring your weight is going to be very important for managing your cholesterol levels. So as I say, all these things are very nuanced. For example, we can say olive oil is healthy, but if it's a poor quality olive oil, or you cook it at too high a temperature, or you otherwise, there's loads of other ways that you can let that olive oil degrade, then maybe it's not that healthy. Okay? Mistake number 5 whenever you're thinking about cholesterol is that you're trying to support healthy cholesterol levels and you're relying on things like processed spreads or flavoured yogurt drinks, say for example, that say with plant sterols or with plant stanols proven to lower cholesterol. So yes, plant sterols, plant stanols have been proved to lower cholesterol. The beneficial effect has been shown with a daily intake of somewhere between 1.5 and 3 grams of plant stanols as part of a healthy diet and lifestyle. Now, I'd rather get my plant sterols and my plant stanols from natural sources, because the spreads that are promoted this way, many of them have been highly processed, treated at high heats. They may have preservatives in them and stabilizers, and it's the same with those yogurty drinks. They could be filled with artificial preservatives and sweeteners. They'll say no added sugar, and you'll look on the label and you'll see all these listed sweeteners. So do check the labels, right? Check the product, and particularly if it says something like if partially hydrogenated oil is listed, definitely best to avoid. And I was asked the question the other night on one of the Zoom programs that I do, when it comes to choosing between margarine and butter, okay, so you know these spreads and butter, you know, what should we go for? And the real answer, right, is that neither is a good choice. But you will find butter in my fridge, because I choose butter over that sort of like other plasticky margarine type stuff. In moderation, I will have butter occasionally. And if all else is good in your diet, then, you know, that's not going to do you any harm. So if you can't give up butter and you don't already have heart disease, make sure that you're not getting any more than between 10 and 15 grams of saturated fat per day. And even that seems a wee bit high to me, but you know, a wee spread of butter is fine. So, mistake number 6, you completely overlook alcohol. You might be, as I was saying before, relying on these, you know, spreads and drinks that are going to lower your cholesterol, but you have completely overlooked things like alcohol, and I was going to throw sugar in there as well, but we'll talk about that another day. Alcohol should be consumed in moderation, right? Now, the occasional drink at a bar or a party is not going to spike your LDL levels, but if that's happening too frequently and in too high a quantity, it could spell disaster. So you don't have to empty your drinks cabinet entirely. Actually, there is some research that suggests that moderate alcohol consumption may actually increase HDL. Now, I read that somewhere, so I'm going to have to go and check that one out, where that comes from, and I'll have all of that information for you for that event on the 16th of November at Ethical Way, which is looking at diet and lifestyle for healthy cholesterol levels. And mistake number 7, and I think this is the last one because I could have went on and on and on, but I was conscious of time on a Friday lunchtime. Mistake number 7 is you basically just go ahead and eat whatever you want because you're maybe taking medication, right? Now, taking statins doesn't mean that you can just ignore the advice about managing your cholesterol with the diet or having a cholesterol lowering diet, right? Many people will wrongly believe that their medication just completely undoes their cholesterol overload regardless of what they eat. Even if you have decided to take medication to lower your cholesterol, you do still need to watch your calorie intake and reduce your saturated fats, watch your carbohydrate intake, because these could be contributing to unhealthy cholesterol levels. And so still following that sort of cholesterol healthy diet is a must, and lifestyle is a must, even if you are taking statins. So those are just a few of the mistakes that a lot of us make whenever we're thinking about cholesterol and managing cholesterol levels. So if this is a topic that either interests you or that you have a concern about and that you want to find out a wee bit more about, I always think the more that you know about these things, even if you are going to the doctor, to have that discussion about where your cholesterol levels are and where you want them to be, the more informed that you are, then the more responsibility that you take for the decisions that you're making. So if this is a topic that either interests you or concerns you that you want to find out a wee bit more about, then go ahead and book for that event on the 16th of November in Ethical Way. It's at 8 o'clock. It should last about an hour, and there will be time for questions in there, and there'll be just loads of answers, loads of information, and you will walk away from that event with a much clearer understanding of this whole cholesterol issue. Now, there are only I think it's 15 places, maybe 17 places that we can take in the venue, so please don't leave it too late. Just if it interests you, go ahead and get booked. And for today and for over the weekend, just think about what one thing can you do to make your tomorrow much healthier for you and for your family. So I'll leave you with that thought. Bye.